Looks like we've got everyone on board that was a participant. So if you want to chat, make any comment on any of the discussion, please feel free. So Antonio made a comment. Someone asked him a question was, did you have to distance yourself on the plane? And from his answer, sounded like no, he didn't, but face masks were still necessary.
Oh, good.
Not sure if Antonio is with us now or if he's left.
He's camera. Oh, here he is. He's turning himself on.
Yeah, hi. No social distancing on the plane, but you had to wear a mask. But the assumption was everyone on there didn't have COVID because you had to be tested before you got on the plane, and yeah, everyone had to be vaccinated. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, the assumption was that no one was unwell on the plane, but it was pretty straightforward. Otherwise, as long as you had all your paperwork and all that, it was pretty much flying as normal, to be fair.
Yeah, good. Any questions? Everyone's gone quiet. Any other comments? Duke, your microphone's off. I can hear you. I can see you.
As a question directly to you.
Sorry, I just, I think I loaded Duke up. Yep, go, Antonio.
No, I was just going to ask, the panel spoke about endurance of getting back out and about. Do you think that your level of alcohol...
Well, how's that? Lucky you froze at the right moment, Antonio.
Going back again.
Yeah.
I said the level of alcohol you can consume is diminished, or will that take time to build up again?
Mine, look, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to test it out one day, though. I think it just depends on the environment, doesn't it? You know, when you're out partying, you know, if you feel like a drink, yeah, you got to do that. But the advice is pace yourself, Antonio. Is that what you wanted me to say?
For those that don't know, Naz and Antonio are ex-rugby teammates, and so there's a lot of trash talking that goes on between them. So.
And we were out drinking Saturday night. So.
Oh, right. Now there's 4 people I haven't been able to get on: Andrew, Colin, Ian, and Simon. I'll give it one more go, but I'm not sure we will get you on. But just as Naz said, does anyone else have a question? We can use the hand up function too if you're shy about just speaking out straight up. Oh, got a couple more.
Oh, we've got. I just saw we've got a guest from New South Wales here. Peter, who's from New South Wales. I don't know why I said that, but I did.
Yeah. Hey, Naz and everyone, how are we all?
Good. Good, thanks, Peter. Looking forward to some travel. I know you're not interested, but the AFL footy's starting pretty soon. And on the news, I saw the crowd restrictions have been lifted. So, like, they're going to have full crowds. And with me, I would be sitting back. I wouldn't be going straight back into the footy straight away. I think I'll just sort of sit back and see how things go.
Naz, maybe could I ask an open question? Experience around, I know it's something that I probably, next time I go back to Europe, I will look into, just because this time it's something I've never thought I wanted, but now I probably do. But experiences around portable power assists for getting around and pushing around cities. I admit I got lazy going around, more so because of the rain, that I would just call an Uber and go from site to site with Uber. But if it wasn't raining, if anyone's had positive experience of using, I guess, portable power assists and the different types. I mean, I have a Bartec, but that's probably really cumbersome to travel overseas with, but I know there are smaller options. But if anyone's had experience with that, would probably be good.
So if anyone doesn't know, the Bartek actually sits in front of you, doesn't it? So it transforms your wheelchair into like a trike, in a way, where you've got handlebars. There's the other one. I'm not sure. I know quite a few people here have got one. Sits behind you. We mentioned it before. They're portable. I think that's one of the ones you're talking about.
I think it's called a smart drive, isn't it?
Smart drive.
Yeah, look,
I got a smart drive, yeah.
the most portable and lightest power assist is either the Smart Drive or Smooth, both of which fit at the rear of the wheelchair and propel you forward. They work exceptionally well on level surfaces. Also great for pushing up hills. The only challenge with that type of unit is if you're on cobblestones or bluestones or things like that, where it's a fairly rough surface, you can lose traction. It's not as effective as what some of the other power assists are, like the ones that fit on the very front of the wheelchair, because in that with that system, it lifts the front casters up off the ground, so you've only got your rear wheels that are driving with the front. But so otherwise, the Smart Drive and Smooth are the two probably most portable and lightest units to travel with.
The other thing is you can travel with them out, and you don't have to put them in as your excess baggage. You travel free with them because they're an assistive device. So regardless of what you decide to take, it's not part of your excess baggage.
Can I just say, the first time I ever saw a Smart Drive, John Kumaru showed me his one, and I'd heard of it, and I thought they were great. You know, it just makes life easier, you know, because I think we don't want to find out the hard way of knowing that you need to look after your shoulders.
It's good, Naz, but also I guess these products are pretty expensive. I'll be interested to hear from Emma. Do you mind just talking about a bit of the process? Because I know with the Smart Drive I got, it was about 10 grand. Now on TAC, I'd be interested with the NDIS process, how you initially go about for that. Like, can you speak to that a bit further?
Yeah, sure. It is a little bit more extensive than I would like it to be. So the NDIS will require you to trial the equipment and then potentially trial some products that you might not be interested in purchasing. Your OT, you'll need to be engaged with an OT, and your OT will complete what's called an AT report, and it's about 30 pages long, and the OT completes a functional assessment, does a bunch of trials, and then justifies to the NDIS why it's a reasonable and necessary piece of equipment. If you know that that's what you're after from your OT, don't be shy about stating that at the beginning. This is what I would like you to work on, because you might be able to just reduce the cost of, or the amount of hours required for the OT, and negotiate there if you haven't accommodated for it in your plan. If you don't have enough capacity building hours for that, it's okay. You can go for, depending on your circumstances, but maybe a change of circumstances, maybe your next plan review, you can opt to put that in, and then they'll add the OT hours needed to get that report in for you.
And I think, Dave, were you trying to make a comment? Did you say you've got the...
And Duke.
Oh yeah, I'd say about the Smart Drive. Yeah, well, I've got one myself. Must admit, I don't use it very often. But for travel, only because I haven't travelled anywhere for the last 2 years. But for travel, I find they are very handy because, well, given my level of disability, I'm quite limited to where I can go. So the Smart Drive is nice and compact, and it enables you to go places that you wouldn't normally be able to go to, or it just takes you too long. So I find that they're very, very handy. But there are limitations like any device, of course, but it really depends on what you want to use them for.
Great. And Duke's got his hand up, and then there's a question from John as well. So Duke, your question?
Yep. Hi, Ryan. On Friday, I'm traveling to Hobart, and I'd originally booked for with Jetstar, and then they rang me back probably about 4 days later after I booked, and said the jet can only take 2 people in wheelchairs. And I'm thinking, well, that's never happened before because I've done a lot of international travel. And so eventually they must have communicated with Qantas, and Qantas said, okay, we'll take you. But my query is probably to Ryan. I've actually got a thing called a tri-ride, which I got through Brian. And I've gone overseas with it before. And the thing is, the battery, I take the battery on board with me. And there's a document that you are required that certifies to the pilot that having a battery is safe, in the fact that some fires have started because of batteries for some reason. In your travel, whether it be national or international, Ryan, have you ever had to pay extra for the tri-ride because of its dimensions and weight, even though it's a travel assistant?
I think that
You're on mute, Ryan.
while he's trying to get on,
You're on mute, Ryan. I didn't hear what you said.
I think he did answer that, Duke, but so if he gets on, he can
There we
answer
go.
it. But
There we go. I haven't had my tri-ride long enough to take it on a plane overseas, but the Disability Discrimination Act designates assistive technology that you would use in your daily life as being free to carry on conveyances, so on planes, right? I haven't had, I understand that there is that documentation around the battery, because the battery has, in some cases is going to be a risk or a hazard. But as you say, you've already filled that out and traveled with it. So that answers that question. But I don't see why any piece of assistive technology, be it a freewheel on the front or a Baytech or anything that's going to, or the motorized wheels, the names that I forget, all of that is around assistive technology that helps you do live your day-to-day life. So that should be considered under that kind of legislation.
So Ryan, it might be, as you're saying, that equipment is not considered excess luggage, but it might still have to be stowed in the hold rather than in the cabin. Yeah,
I don't think you would want to put a tri-ride in the cabin anyway.
I'd take the battery, but that's only from a weight perspective thing, and it's about 5 kilo, my battery. So.
Right. Yeah, I guess what you'd want to do then, if it's being stowed if it's being stowed, then you would want to make sure that you've got a fair bit of bubble wrap around that.
Yeah.
Okay, John Adams had a question about if anyone had tried the Empower Golf wheelchair, which I think is called the Power Golfer, which I think, did I see Pradeep there before? Oh, and Duke, you tried it too? I think Pradeep must have, oh no, Pradeep's still around.
I've got it too.
Or Duke, you tried it? Do you want to mention your experience?
Yeah, I tried it on the recommendation of Pradeep, actually. So we both went to a golf course, and there a guy was allowed us to go and try it. What it does is that you transfer into this device that's capable of going onto the golf course, and it straps you in, but it allows your arms free to hit a golf club. So and then they have a device that loads the golf ball to a place, to a position, so you can swing your golf club and hit it for driving and just for even putting.
So I've just
that's it.
Yeah, that's what I went on to.
Yeah, just to give you a look at that. Has anyone tried clay pigeon shooting? I think John was asking. Any clay pigeon shooters?
Yeah, seriously.
John, you might want to start with, I know Springvale Shooting Range has been quite good in terms of making shooting accessible. It might not be clay pigeon shooting straight up, but it's a good place to start, although...
And I've got a friend of mine who's a jockey, and she broke her back in a race ball, and she's taken on clay pigeon shooting, won the South Australian
Okay.
title, open title.
Yep.
And there is a clay pigeon shooting place here in Mornington, not too far from where I am.
Okay. All right, so it's just a suggestion that people might like to consider. Thanks, John. Antonio, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I was just listening to Duke about, he was talking about Jetstar, and that is a policy they have. I had it once. I turned up to the airport, and they said, "Oh, we've got blah blah blah." And my way around it was, I said, "Well, are they permanently paralysed?" They were just, not to sound derogatory, a bunch of people that were too lazy to walk onto the plane who needed a bit of assistance, but then quite easily walked off when they didn't have to wait to be last off. So that is a policy that I have found with Jetstar, but they didn't ring me. They said something at the airport, and I said, well, I'm not changing anything, and I was just a bit firm with them. But yeah, I don't know why. I think, yeah, it's one of those sort of, it's the only airline in Australia that I know that has that policy. But
Can I just add to that? I think Virgin is the same. So they're considered, what do you call it, discount airlines. When it comes to Qantas, Qantas is a full service airline. So that's why they have more people with disabilities allowed on their plane. Like we've had like 20 people on a Qantas flight before they allow it, because
we've had that with Virgin as well, Nars. We've flown Virgin.
Yeah, I think you have to get special clearance though, because they're considered low cost. They're allowed to get away with it. Well, not really get away with it, because they are saying, because we're low cost, we can't afford the time to get people on and off. So we can do 2 people, and that's the agreement they've come to with the Transport Authority, whoever they are.
It just goes into their definition of wheelchair user. I mean, if somebody that needs assistance onto a plane rather than somebody that is a legitimate wheelchair user.
Okay, we might need to start wrapping up. Andrew, were you trying to say something just now? Nope. And I believe Emma sent me a message. Craig has been trying to get a question up or a comment. You're on mute at the moment, Craig.
Just about public transport. That's the main route. Well, it's either that or my pouch here between home and town, depending on the weather. They're greater in Geelong, the buses and things. And the trains are down for Geelong and Melbourne. So, yeah, pretty good area now. Sleepy High.
Can I say something, Sal?
Sure. Is it related to Craig's comments?
No.
Oh, so I missed. Had a bit of interference. Were you asking a question or just making a comment, Craig, about?
I was just saying about the efficiency of the public transport around Geelong, and I guess it's the same in Melbourne. And just how easy it is, and how well looked after you get on when you get on the train along the river. I've been to a few games of the MCG, both cricket and footy, and go locally to the Geelong Footy Club or Geelong home game. So, you know, I do get out a little bit, but I'm a bit of a hermit the rest of the time.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess public transport has its own little quirks and picadillos. So having a little bit of a go at that bit by bit is a good place to start.
Just one more question, sir.
Sorry?
Just one more question. All you travellers, how do you get on? Because I still self-catheterise. So if I was going anywhere, I've got to take a stack of catheters and bags and stuff with me. So I don't know how you get on putting all that stuff on the plane either. But do you guys have to have indwelling catheters or therapeutic for all this travel?
Okay, so Craig's asking about how you manage your catheters when you're traveling on planes, I guess.
It doesn't matter, Craig. I know a lot of people that do intermittent and they don't change it, but if you're worried about it, I know some people that have got like an indwelling catheter, for example, for long trips, so they don't have to use the bathroom and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. But when I go to hospital, I get a selfie, an indwelling put in. So I guess they're the same for travel.
Yeah. So there's no law if you think you're going to be okay with intermittent catheters. There's no right reason why you wouldn't do that, because you can still use the bathroom on the planes 90% of the time.
I don't know how you go accessing in those kind of planets.
Yeah, I know people that travel and they've just done it in their seat. I guess they've had no one, someone beside them. They put a blanket over them so they're very inconspicuous, and they've done it in their seat. So I guess it depends on level of function and who's beside you, I guess.
Yeah, I'm T7.
I think one of the things for traveling in a plane is when I've got onto planes, I've tried to get one of the long leg room seats, which unfortunately on the long leg room seat, the side doesn't lift down, so you can't transfer from the aisle chair into that particular seat location. So that's a bit of a problem. And the other thing is they don't like people that aren't fully able to be in one of the emergency exits, because you're expected to help others to get out of the plane, which of course you can't do. So that's the consideration that when you are getting onto a plane, to make sure that they've allocated you an aisle seat, because otherwise any other seat besides that front long leg room seat has the side that pulls out of the way, so you can slide across or get assistance to get across easily. You don't have to be lifted over and moved across.
Except Thai Airways.
Beg pardon?
When I was with well, this is going back 2012 now, a long time ago, but Thai Airways, the only airline that's allowed me to sit in front of the bulkhead.
Yeah, exactly.
Every other airline said, yeah, you got to go and take the aisle, the seat on the rows.
I've traveled a lot and I've done business class, so it makes it a bit easier, I suppose. The other thing I wanted to say is that Pradeep is talking about getting out there. I've gone sailing with Pradeep. I've gone snorkeling with Pradeep, and he's a great person to talk to if you want to know what are the logistics associated with doing all those get out there things. He goes sailing out at Docklands, and he goes snorkeling and all these amazing things. That's Pradeep. So talk to Pradeep if you really want to find out what's happening.
Yeah,
and my last thing,
you on the panel, Pradeep.
Yes, you should have been. And the other thing, I'd like to give a wholehearted congratulations to Ryan for the article he did in The Age. I read that, and that was amazing the way you structured it so that there was a rating given to all the different aspects of getting out there for a person. That was absolutely fantastic, Ryan. You're a champion.
Well, I can't take too much credit for that, mate. That was the journalist that put those ratings on the places. But I'm just one of the many voices trying to shine a light on access.
Yeah, you gave the raw data, mate, and I don't think without that they wouldn't have been able to give it any rating. So well done.
Thanks.
And Pradeep also mentioned disabled divers, which is a good resource for the snorkeling that you mentioned, Duke.
Yes.
We're at 4:12. We've gone over time as we usually do. We want to wrap up. I know Josh has been trying all session to bring your attention to the YouTube channel with people doing their usual day-to-day things, sharing their tips and tricks. So there's the link to the YouTube channel, Josh.
And if the community got anything they want to see from, all our lived experience, wealth of knowledge, send us an email and, we'll make sure Nars films it.
Particularly if it's something that'll help you get out and about. So let's use that
There's going to be a few more going up. Before we finish too, Vanessa, I wanted to mention to you, you said you're sort of new and you sort of don't know which organisations are around. We've actually got like a community network just for females if you're interested in joining. And there's an actual Facebook page too. You probably know already, but just in case you didn't, I thought I'd let you know.
Thank you.
A lot of the dance and rollers are members, Vanessa. We can chat to you.
Yes, you've helped me a lot. Once you get to know someone, then it's way easier. But
That's
to
right.
actually find the first person,
Well, it's good for Brian's on our side with dance and roll. It's good to hear. Yeah, thank you.
I think I took over a bit from you, Nars, sorry, but
No, that was excellent.
good. We done? 4:15?
Yeah, I just want to say a personal hi to Tanya and John as well. And Wafi. Wafi's there as well.
Hi Nars, how are you?
Good, Tanya. Is that you, Tanya?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay, because I haven't spoken to you or seen you in ages.
Yeah, sorry, no video.
That's all right.
Had a very bad morning with Kara and I look like Alice Cooper and nobody's seeing it.
Hey, look at me, and I've got no problem.
I'm vain still at my old age. Naz, you look all right.
Self-esteem.
Vanity's not a very pretty thing, actually, is it, Dave?
What's that?
It's all right. Nothing. I was going to have a go at you about what happened a very long time ago at Jetstar.
No, I deny that. I deny that.
It was in the days when you could tell someone they were fat.
Oh. Hey, Tanya reminds me though that another great way of helping to get out and about is having an assistance dog. Tanya, do you want to talk about how that has helped you?
Yeah, I'm on my third dog at the moment and they are wonderful. I mean, she's 20 years now, 22 years of having an assistance dog. And the first time my first dog I had when I was 7 years down the track, and just being able to open my own front door and get out of my unit because he could do it for me was incredible. Just to be able to help me with shopping, and it's just having someone by your side, and even though it's a dog, just makes a huge difference. They are wonderful. So they help me with my shopping, get things off the shelves. I knock on the floor and he'll pick it up and jump up and put it in the basket on my lap. So it might seem like a small thing, but not having hand function and not being able to get those things off myself make a big difference. Being able to do it, my dog do it, and you get a lot of attention from all sorts of people out and about too, because you've got a dog. You actually become more visible, which is yeah, probably sad in a bit of a way that people don't see you without your dog. But yeah, my dog's is a bit of a COVID baby at the moment because he hasn't been out and about as much as he usually would. But he's still working around home, so that's the main thing.
Well,
I
Tanya,
remember meeting the one in at the Austin. I don't know if you know Justin. He's a quality, he's about C3. He's got an art gallery. His number.
oh yeah, Justin Stevenson.
Yeah, that's him, Justin. Yeah, I met his dog.
All right.
I can't remember his name really. Yeah, anyway, he used to come into the Austin and visit him all the time when he was in hospital. Great dog.
And I can vouch, Tanya, even for an upright, having a dog makes you more visible to the world. In fact, probably people want to talk to the dog more than me, but anyway.
That's true. That's true. But I know that when my last dog passed away and then COVID hit, I mean, I was devastated and lost without having a dog. And then being locked down with COVID, it just made it that much more difficult. And once Ryder came along, just, yeah, totally changed things. They really are wonderful creatures.
Excellent.